What's going on, everybody? Reese here with Tampa Bay Jeep Club and the Colony 13 Jeep. We are going to start doing some episodes on featured builds. So the easiest build to get a hold of is going to be mine. So that's going to be our first episode. We're going to walk through what I have going on with the Colony 13 Jeep, as well as the plans for the future as we continue building this thing. So buckle up. Here we go. I'm going to try to walk you through every single detail that we have. If you got any questions that I didn't cover, please drop them in the comments. So I think it's important that we start by like how the journey of I got this Jeep. This is my first Jeep that I've ever had. I actually originally was going to buy a Gladiator with the diesel motor in it. Found one, so I'm in Tampa. I found one in Miami. Couldn't get a hold of that dealership for like 3 days. Was calling them, emailing them, and I couldn't get a response back. Had a check in hand, was ready to go. So I went to a dealership here local in Tampa, Dayton Andrews, and Clearwater just to go talk to them. I didn't know if it was possible to maybe transfer that Jeep from Miami to Clearwater. Was told that it really wasn't feasible to do that. So when I went in there, I also got a little bit of feedback on the diesel motor, but they had a Jeep that he wanted me to look at out in the lot. So took a little walk and come to find out, it was a Jeep Beach Edition, which is what we have. So I didn't know this until I was there, but Jeep Beach Editions were a 20th anniversary limited run. They only made 500 of those. So this is number 161 of only 500 Jeep Beach Anniversary Editions made. So had the Extreme Recon package when you buy it. It's got the custom leather inside, which I'll show you here in a little bit. It's got the 456 gears right from the factory, and it has the Extreme Recon package underneath it. So it's got the HD axles, the same things that come on the Mojaves or the Rubicon XRs. But it was a good package, body paint, match, top, and fenders. So it was really cool. And the other little bonus that it came with was the Sunrider top, which I don't have on right now, but I do use that quite often. So it was a really good package deal. Dayton Andrews made it very simple for me to be in and out in less than 2 hours for a new vehicle. Great experience. So that's the way life started. And I'll tell you, when I bought it originally, I had no plans to do anything to it. I was like, oh man, this thing's on 35s, which is what it came with. It came with the Mopar beadlock capable wheels. I was like, man, this has everything I'm gonna need. I'm not gonna have to spend a dime on this after I buy it. Well, if you're a Jeeper, you know exactly what that feeling's like, and it never stops. So that's how life started. So now where are we at? 1 year later, a little over 1 year, is how long I've had this. So let me tell you exactly all the iterations that this has already went through in just a year. Yeah. I took it from the 35s and I put some 37-inch Ridge grapplers on it, which were great. They fit. So if you're curious, you have an XR, 37s will fit with it from the factory. However, you have almost zero flex in the back end. Front end was okay, but the back end had very little flex. So the first thing I did is I went and did a JKS 3.5-inch lift. So it had all 4 lower control arms and the springs, obviously, and then Fox 2.0 shocks. So that was the first iteration. I put those 37s on the stock XR rims that come with the Extreme Recon package. Great look. I loved it. But after taking it on the trails a couple times, it's like, I need more. So the first thing I did was I added spacers to those wheels to get a little bit more poke out of those, so we had some more articulation room, but I still wasn't where I wanted to be. So then came on to the first wheel change. I went with some black Rhino, I forgot the name of them, they're the military look ones. I went with those originally, 17 by 9.5s, had those on for a few months. I didn't like them. They were gunmetal black, but to me they had a little bit of a green look, and it just didn't match the black and white flow that I was going for this Jeep. So after that, reached out to Rocktrix wheels. We decided to go with one of their sets of the all black, and it looked extremely awesome. So that was our wheels. Then we decided, maybe we want a little bit more out of our system. So I'd been following Rockcrawler, and the first thing that we did to kind of compensate for the heavier weight of the 37s is we did an RK full steering. So that's what I'll go show you now, because that was really the first big component after the JKS lift that I added to this. So after that, I wanted to go bigger. I wanted a bigger tire. I wanted more articulation. So Rock Crawler steering was an amazing product. So I went back to them for a lift kit. So what we've got now as far as a lift is we have a 4.5 inch Rock Crawler Adventure Series lift on it. So that's all 4 springs, it's all 8 adjustable control arms. We also did the drag link flip, so moved it to the top of the knuckle, and we also did the track bar relocation, which raises that so everything's in line. We have the 2.25 Rock Crawler Race Series shocks on it. They ride extremely well. They're nitrogen filled. The only thing I would say that just be aware of if you're going to go with that setup is you do have to recharge those shocks every year, which Rock Crawler can do it, or you can find a local shop that can do that for you as well. Completely changed the game on this. So put the 4.5 inch Rock Crawler lift on it. We are now moved to some different Rocktrix wheels. These actually are the, I believe it's the RT117 with a -38 offset, still in the 17x9, but what that does is it gives us a lot of poke, and I'll come around to the front so you can see that it's got a pretty good offset so that we get plenty of room for this articulation that the Rock Crawler system is going to provide. So 38 inch trail grappler MTs. Wanted some more off-road traction. The Ridge grapplers are great, but definitely wanted something with a little bit more grip, as one of my favorite things is to go out and rock crawl. Not a huge mud guy. I like rock crawling. So that's what we did with that. It's got the rear raised track bar as well. Drives extremely well. So we'll get into it at a different episode, but I also have another Jeep Beach Edition. So this is number 161. We also have number 63, and the other one is on 22s and 35s, still with the stock suspension and everything. This one rides and drives better than the stock suspension from Jeep. Amazing setup. So now we've got rims, tires. The other thing that we did was the inner fender liners and the fender separation. So you can see, and I'll get a little bit closer, we did the fender separation. So what does that do? It gives you a lot more room to move that tire on the up travel. We did the fender chop brackets without the DRLs in those. These are from Artec, as well as the fender liners. So we did that whole system, so we have a lot of room. We left them the raw aluminum look. Show you the rears here. Love the way it come out. So that's really what we did all the way around to make sure that we had plenty of room to flex. Still keeps it the kind of classic Jeep look by having all the fenders on there. We do have plans to possibly do a fender delete, which we'll talk about more later. And then the other thing that we added is the Apex Auto Link sway bar disconnects. I love these things. And when we had the 3.5 inch lift, we did have to cut out the Artec logo, so we had room for those to travel up and wouldn't hit the fender liners. Other exterior components, we have rugged ridge front and rear bumpers, XOR, so they're very, very minimalist. We have a 9,500 pound rugged ridge winch on the front, which has saved my tail several times. Get around here and I will show you the rear. So a couple small things that didn't know I needed, but just wanted to share that with you. So when we went to the 4.5 inch lift, your e-brake lines actually aren't long enough when you go that high. So we have a Synergy Manufacturing e-brake relocation bracket that moves those below the frame so that they don't act as limiting straps. Gives it a ton more articulation when you're on the trail versus those getting bound up. Only other thing I think that I haven't covered underneath is we did because of the length and the amount of articulation, the stock drive shaft, when we had it on there for one off-roading trip, we shredded it. So we did go with an Adams 1350 drive shaft, made a huge difference. Beefy setup, easy to install. We did it in the driveway. So from a mechanical standpoint, that's what all we've done to the exterior. I believe that's it. Want to make sure. The only other thing maybe you want to see is on the back we do have, I forgot the manufacturer of it, you can get on Amazon, but it's a flag holder. Here in Tampa we do rep some flags from here and there. It also has a CV radio mount, which is in the future for this build. But that's it for the exterior. So I'll walk you around real quick so you can see from all different angles what this actually looks like. I love the setup that we're on now. Took it on a couple Badge of Honor trails and it's amazing. That's also the Rock Crawler nitrogen charged steering stabilizer as well. So you can see here now, it looks a little bit different, but originally the drag link was not flipped. It was in the original factory location, but we did the Pro X steering from Rock Crawler, which is the drag link and the tie rod in all aluminum. Man, that tightened up steering in a hurry, drove 10 times better. It was one of my favorite upgrades I did in the early stages. Okay, so that's the outside. So let's go into some of the other little things that we've done to it. So it did not have a trail cam. Z Automotive trail cam plugs right into the factory system. Now with the Jeep Beach Edition, we do have the upgraded Alpine system with the subwoofer in the back. Easy plug and play. It also has the Z Automotive Taser so that we can correct the tires, as well as all the other cool functions that the Taser does for your Jeep. If you do not have one of those, it's definitely something I would highly recommend. Really, really cool little toy that helps you do all kind of functions that I can't even list right now, but go check them out as well. Now, something I did in the back, which I did not know that I needed my whole life, is we have added a Goal Zero Alta 50 refrigerator in the back, as well as their Yeti 700 battery backup system. Absolutely love it. You can plug it into your 12 volt back here, or it can run off the battery. The way I have it set up is it all goes through the battery, but when the Jeep's running, it actually charges the battery. So when we're on long trips, the battery is getting charged while also running the Goal Zero fridge. So everything there is cold. We don't have to worry about stopping for ice. Is it going to make it? Makes it a lot easier. Depending on temperature outside, that Yeti 700 should run the refrigerator for 48 to 72 hours. Simple Mod tailgate table. I keep my Jeep toolkit back here. Also the deflation from Rhino USA. I've got the 7/8 Rhino kinetic rope that I always keep with me as well. Extra radios for the kids, so that way if we go somewhere. But yeah, that's overall, that is the build so far. Future plans, probably going to do a fender delete that come with a liner from a company called Air Design USA. Go check them out of California. Got some really cool stuff that they make. Lockers for sure, and then a belly pan. That's probably in that order what's going to be next. Belly pan definitely needed if you're doing some rock crawling, so you can glide over everything versus it sitting on those cross members and getting hung up. As you can see, here's the Jeep Beach sticker that they send with it. 161 of 500. But overall, I've been pleased with it. It's come a long way in a year. A lot more plans to go with it. Right now it's got 4 badge of honors on the side, but we've got 2 more in the mail from Beasley Knob and Gulches. And then we have a long list of ones that we want to complete over the years. So I hope you enjoyed this feature build this time. We intend to do all kind of different builds, feature those on our channel. So what have I learned? Nothing. Really, your Jeep modifications are gonna have to fit to your needs. I didn't know when I bought this that I had the need to go play on rocks. So start with a base and build it to what you are gonna use it for. Now we do have future plans. We're gonna do a little bit of towing with this. So we have a camper to travel around all these badge of honor trails. So we'll probably have to do a little bit of work once we get that done. Future plans are the lockers, possibly re-gear this as well from the 456 up to the 538s. Maybe we go to 40s eventually. I don't know. I'm pretty pleased with the 38s. They give a lot of articulation, keeping the weight down as much as possible. Dana 44s are a little bit stronger than what they used to be, but the less weight we can put on them, the longer they'll last. And if you looked at Jeeps, axles are not cheap. So we'll try to keep these lasting as long as possible. Maybe do some RCV axle shafts on the front to get rid of those U-joints, re-gear, lockers, probably truss the front and back. Should be strong enough to hang on for a few years maybe. This is my daily driver, which makes it a little bit more interesting. But hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. We're gonna do a lot more builds, so maybe something resonates with you that you see on other builds as we keep posting those. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there in the wild.